All right, it's going live. All right, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We are live for another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. We have a wonderful guest that's amongst us. She is the founder of Atlanta Sustainable Fashion Week. It's the first ever sustainable Atlanta Sustainable Fashion Week. Welcome, Tanjuria Willis. Tanjuria,
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, so I know it's a busy week, so I appreciate you taking 20 minutes out of your time to talk to us, to talk to the students, to talk to anyone that is tuned in. So tell us, where are you from, Tanjuria, and when did you find your passion, or how did you find your passion for fashion? Oh, you're muted, Tanjuria. For some reason, I think you muted yourself.
Okay,
Uh-huh.
I'm back. Am I back now?
Yeah, you are back now.
Awesome. So I am originally from Chicago, Illinois. I came down to North Carolina, went to college at North Carolina A&T State and graduated with a degree in electrical engineering.
Wow.
And so I did that for several years. I was a plant systems engineer for a nuclear facility. And so I was in the nuclear world and the energy world for a long time. But I've always had a passion for fashion, and it's always been my thing, my girlfriends and I. And we used to have this running joke that we would always be so much into fashion. And my sister, who went to a different school, she's like, you must have got that from your school or something, you know? And so it was just something we always did and we always loved. And so I really kind of moved into it organically. At the time, growing up, your parents are like, no, you're going to be a doctor or engineer or something, and so there's no money in that. And so you do what you're told to do for the most part. And not to say I didn't like it. I enjoyed engineering when I did it. But I just missed the creative side of things, which I was always very creative. And so when I decided when I moved to Atlanta, I moved to Atlanta out of college long time ago. And I used to do a lot of travel. And throughout my travels, I got to experience a lot of different things, spend a lot of time in New York and a lot of different places. So I got to really grow my fashion sense per se. But I started here when I stopped traveling. I decided I wanted to kind of start a small magazine. And as part of that, fashion became a big part of it. And through that, I got a chance to experience like the New York Fashion Weeks and different things that really, really broadened my horizon and cultivated my passion as well. And so around 2010 or so, when I decided to take a break from entrepreneurship, got married, had baby, all of that stuff, and took a small hiatus. But as I was taking that hiatus, that was real when I really started to see what was happening with the advent of fast fashion and the growth of that, and what was really happening with the textiles that were flooding the landfills. And then what even more than that, how those things were affecting us in our communities. And unfortunately, we sometimes just look at the shiny object and not see the underlying thing. And so my passion, I wanted to figure out a way to be able to educate folks as well as try to do something to clean the communities closest to us, which were people of color.
No, that's very powerful, because you find a lot of being that you're an engineer and dealt with nuclear, that ain't even my world, but I know when it comes to landfills, when it comes to waste dumps and various things like that, they are placed in the poorest communities. So for you to want to take an initiative to help with that, and do it from fashion, I think is very commendable. And there's a live chat that's going on YouTube. So Gail, I see you. Thank you for chiming in. She's saying passion for fashion. That's a slogan. But yeah, I can relate to your story, Tanjuria, because I was at Walmart working in the real estate division, and prior to that, I was with Ebony, and I thought, okay, I was going to settle myself and just stay in a corporate realm, but God called me to get out of that comfortable job and put myself back in these streets, whatever you may call it. Yeah, so I can understand. Your parents wanting you to have that foundation, but you stepping out and finding that right fit for you. And with that, you're also the founder of eCloset. So tell us about that, and then I'll get it a little bit more into Atlanta Sustainable Fashion Week.
So eCloset came about because previous to that, my first entrepreneurial journey was I published a small magazine here in the city called Connect. And Connect was a little lifestyle publication about things going on around the city. Well, when I started publishing, I was still working in my job. And I decided at some point, maybe like after I had been into it about 5 years, that I was going to focus solely on Connect. And in doing that, I was self-funding. And in self-funding, you have to self-budget. So you go from making one salary, as an engineer to a different salary. And so I started, and I liked the things that I used to buy as an engineer and, as that person. And I didn't necessarily want to lose that. Plus the fact that when you're starting a business, it's always about the perception of, it's always about perceiving, who you are, what you are, and all of those things. And so I needed to be able to do that, but I didn't want to break the bank doing it. And so I started shopping consignment stores and stores that sold mostly gently used clothing. And upon entering those stores, I didn't really care for the presentation that I got when I was in those stores. A lot of times the stores were really busy, or the furniture was all over the place. It was just a lot of things. And so what I did was I decided to do my own thing, and I wanted to create an experience for people. And I wanted that experience to really be where your dollar was valued, because I felt like I was paying hundreds of dollars for things that were quality and gently used, but I felt like I was shopping on a trash can lid, almost like my dollar wasn't valued per se. And so with that, I wanted to try to give people a different experience from being previously loved and having those items.
Yeah, and I have benefited from your amazing clothing. I know for that photo shoot I did with our G-Men group, but I want to show you all students eCloset, so that if you or the parents or our adult students ever just want to get some consignment clothing, as Tanjuria had mentioned, I went from a 6-figure salary to building myself back up, but I still want to look a certain way. So you have a consignment shop where you can get high-end items, and you can rent them out, right, Tanjuria?
Sometimes, depending on the case, that's a case-by-case basis. Sometimes we do that. It's a little bit more difficult sometimes with consignment pieces, because the consignment pieces are actually owned by the people that they belong to. And so we are basically selling them on behalf of the person. So the rental process becomes a little bit different sometimes, but it just depends on a case.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yes, I love the clothing. Let me see if I can pull up a picture, you all, so I can reference what Tanjuria had hooked me up with for my photo shoot, and I had it pulled up. Hopefully it is ready. But if not, I can pull it up as we're talking and get into Atlanta Fashion Week, which is happening this weekend, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday.
Yes, the Fashion Week. Yes.
Yes, and that's a big deal. That's a big deal. So let me pull that up really quickly since I have that ready. And I want to talk about some of the panelists that you're going to have
Sure.
on set. And I know that if it'll click for me, there we go. Tanjuria, can you see that screen?
I can. I
Okay,
absolutely
awesome.
can.
So just so for the people that are tuning in and watching, can you talk about what's going to be happening each day, how the panelists, fit in with everything, and can they tune in online if there are some people out of state for this event?
Absolutely. So the event kicks off on October 28th with just that, with a kickoff reception. And we will have a nice, it'll be a nice party. We'll be welcoming everybody into the space, and we'll have live music, and it'll just be a great evening of just really kicking off and celebrating the fact that we are doing the first Sustainable Fashion Week in Atlanta, and that this is it and really introducing what is, to me, a movement. And then we'll follow that on Friday. And on Friday is a full day of panels. And we have panels that are hosted by the United Kingdom. And so, where interestingly, that panel is moderated by the Chief Sustainability Office of the City of Atlanta here, Shelley Busso. And that office is actually the director of that office is J.R. Seidel, who is Laura Turner Seidel's son and Ted Turner's grandson. So it's going to be packed with information, and they're going to be talking about sustainable fashion from a United Kingdom standpoint. And then we move on to having a conversation, a conversation with more global people, international folks from Germany. We have Carl Tillison, who is from the German Fashion Council and a trend analyst and chief sustainability person from Germany, as well as an author, as a bestseller author. And then Jacqueline Shaw, who is the founder of the Africa Fashion Guide, and she focuses on all things Africa. And so we'll also have that conversation with them. And then
I'm loving it. I'm sorry. I'm loving it. United Kingdom, Germany, Africa, first annual Atlanta Sustainable Fashion Week. You have to come. This is amazing. Okay, I'm sorry, sis. I had to stop.
No.
All of those countries, I had to do a little shout. Okay, yes.
Yeah. So we're after that, we'll take a little break from the panels, and we're going to have a cooking demonstration with Wonder Grubs with samples. And Wonder Grubs does do what they call an alternative protein, and I won't tell you what that is. You can research it, but it's actually really good. And so they will be doing a cooking demonstration with them, and then we'll go back to panelists. And the panelists in this next panel will talk about the circular economy. So there'll be people from not only from clothing, but we'll also have conversations on what the circular economy looks like, in the circular economy of reusing clothes and lasting clothes and keeping them out of extending the life cycle. And so that will be that conversation. And then we'll take one more break with that, and we'll have a demonstration by Q&A Fabrics, who does amazing work, and they'll be doing a fashion show on that Saturday as well. But then we have one more panel with celebrity celebrity stylist and costume designer Lisa Smedley. And if you are not familiar with Lisa Smedley, please look her up. She did everything from the Black Messiah to Greenleaf
Oh,
to
wow.
she styled Whitney Houston back in the day. She styled Celine Dion. She was, she styled
She's going to be there.
she's going to be there physically in the space. Physically
Look,
in the
all,
space.
all my
Yes.
Whitney Houston fans.
Yes.
He's not
Yes.
living, but at least we can shake hands or
Yes.
at least hear
Yes.
someone that worked with Whitney Houston. Yes.
Yes. Yes. So she has styled just about everyone in the industry almost. And I mean, just amazing, amazing person. And she's going to be there, and we're going to be talking about bursting the fast fashion bubble. And then also Jeremiah James, who is also a celebrity, amazing stylist. He has a style salon in Buckhead, but he travels all over doing style. I think he just came back from Paris Fashion Week, and so he'll be in the space as well. So the first two panels that I spoke about will be virtual panels, but these last two panels, they'll all be physically in the space. So you can touch and feel it. Well, not touch and feel, it's COVID times, but you can you can talk to them and ask them questions, and they will be physically in the space. And then Quanae Baker, who is an amazing designs and is doing some wonderful work in sustainability here in the city. And then she'll be there. And then what we didn't talk about was our boutiques. So there will be boutiques and shopping. And so you can shop not only some of the designers that are there, but also some other boutiques that will be there, even down to sustainable children's clothes. So
Wow.
there will be a lot to, natural soaps. There will be a lot of vendors. There will be a lot of vendors there that you can shop and you can talk to. And really get to know some of these brands. And then we break into the runway shows, and the runway shows will be running, as you can see. We start with I'll kick off that with eCloset designer clothing, and those will all be previously loved clothing. So you might see a bunch of different things, from leather to potentially fur to everything, but we're keeping them out of landfill, and this is what you call circular economy and circular clothing, because we're recycling them and giving them extended use. And then you have Rochelle Porter Designs, who's more of an athletic wear brand. Isashia, who does amazing things with denim. And then we have a live music performance, and then we go back into our final three runway shows of the day. And then we end that with a designer chat. And it's just an informal conversation where the designers can come out and sit, and you can ask them questions about, how they manipulated the fabrics that they did, what made them even think about that design, whatever that question is, just for a few minutes, and then we'll close out for the night.
Ooh, that Friday is a full day.
It is.
It is a full day.
Yeah.
That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. And then we go into Saturday. Saturday morning, we'll start with the coffee and tea social, and just good morning, kick off, kind of, just to get our juices flowing and start to network and talk. And then we'll go into our panels. And most of these panels will all be present, would be physical in the house panels. So they will be there for these panels. And you have everyone from the brand director for Victoria's Secrets to Macy's there's so much, and you can see all of the panels bios on the website, but there's so many amazing folks that are going to be talking on the panels. And then and down to Lisa Wise, who is with Reloom. I see she's on one of the panels, and she's actually here in Atlanta, but does amazing work. Reloom they have a nonprofit and a for-profit business where they teach women to loom or weave in an effort to get them back into society, and they help them with housing, and they help them with basically teaching them how to fish.
I love
that are homeless. Yeah. And so it's a really great program. And then we close it out with this amazing runway with Q&A by Reloom, which is really amazing, because they've created an entire collection out of woven and recycled, a Fortune 500 company recycled uniforms. So it is going to be amazing show.
I would say so. I mean, you all look at the amazing guests that she have. It's also very educational for anyone that's trying to figure out what's going on with our environment, from down just the different angles that people are taking to help our environment. Like, what's still on my mind is Reloom, I guess, because that was the last thing, but taking homelessness, women empowerment, and sustainability, and combining all of those three things. You all need to definitely support. It's happening October 28th. And I've been fortunate now, like, I'm getting so much more excited about this, Tanjuria, just hearing all of the amazing people. So I'm going to lend my experience and help. I'm going to be backstage helping with the models, you all. And I know I put in the comments that if you're thinking about modeling, we'd let you know how. So right now we're reaching out. I'm not reaching out. I'm sorry. We already have a list of models, but Tanjuria, I guess tomorrow, we can have them send in their information, and if we need additional models,
definitely.
We will. Mm-hmm.
And because it's all about, really part of this event, and I'm so glad that you mentioned education, because I don't think you can have a sustainable fashion week without the conversation, because it's such, in people's minds, it's such a new thing to understand really and the word is thrown around so much. To really understand what sustainability is really the challenge now. So you can't ask people to support it if they don't really understand what it is. And so I felt like we had to have the conversation. We had to at least introduce the conversation. And so whether you are here, whether you are abroad, whether you're in a different state, we have virtual tickets available that you can view, and we'll get you the streaming, the link, and so that you can see the runway shows even from where you are. We'll be streaming that night to our viewers as well, and so it'll be great. It's going to be exciting. And so otherwise, you can also buy tickets from the website to be in the space. And we have some really fun stuff aside from just the things that I mentioned. We have a couple of other surprises that we're going to be doing. So it's going to be really good.
Awesome. Wonderful. So you all, I did find this outfit. I found it on Facebook. Let me see if I could pull it up just so you can see how I was shining in E-Closet clothing. And some of these clothing, will be featured at Sustainable Fashion Week, because E-Closet is kicking off the reception with an amazing runway show on Thursday at 8 p.m. And they are also doing a runway show on Thursday at 6 p.m. So for all of on Friday at 6 p.m. So for all of my fashionistas that's looking for hubs to find great fashion, make sure that you come to the Sustainable Fashion Week. So let me see, are there any questions in the chat room? I see Bridget, I see you. I see a wow. I'm wowing too. She has put on an amazing program for this to be the first one, and with sustainability being what's on cutting edge, what's relevant for our environment. It's only going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yes.
So come and be a part of history. Buy a ticket at atlsfw.com.
Yes.
Atlanta Sustainable Fashion Week. Come and be a part of history and say that you were at the first one. And support this amazing movement, support this amazing woman. And yeah, I think that's about it, Tanjuria. I'm going to post this and make sure that our network sees this. And I will see you on Thursday.
Awesome. I hope to see all of you as well. And if you have any questions, you can reach out to us on social media. We answer all of our social media, so we definitely respond. So definitely, if you have any questions, any thoughts, any suggestions, just let us know what you're thinking. But our goal is, we're holding the event at Lee and White, and we were very intentional about that because I wanted to have it in a place that was about redevelopment, and we're in a raw space at Lee and White because it's in redevelopment. It's the old historical warehouse district, which is now turned into restaurants and breweries, but we are transforming a raw space into our runway. So it's about almost like the Rose Out of Concrete concept.
I love how every thought, that went behind creating this event. I think it's amazing. Shout out to the Pearls. We did a Pearls Go Green fashion show in the spring, just touching on this sustainable issue as well. So just want to give a shout out to all of the models that participated in that. And Gail, I see your comment. That was a beautiful dress. Yeah, when she put it on me, I told her that shoot, I'll be buried in this dress. I'm still this size when God transitioned me, but she has so much more stuff. So there's more stuff that I got to explore and play with. But you all, thank you for tuning in for another edition of Model Talk Tuesdays. I'm a lady named Pearl. I will see you next week, where we'll be interviewing a fashion stylist. So